Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Spartans Center here on LCAT. I'm Colin Casey, as always, joined by Matt Rotalakis and Patrick Varhue. We begin this week with 2 weeks left in the NFL season. Plenty of teams vying for a wild card spot. Even one division race is still up for grabs in the AFC South. Who do you think is going to sneak in as 2 wild cards, though? We'll start in the AFC, Matt.
For the AFC, I have the Chiefs getting in second place in the West behind the Raiders, and my Miami Dolphins, because Matt Moore is best quarterback in the world.
I'm going to agree that the Chiefs are going to get in easily. I still think they're the best team in the AFC, whether they're not first in the division, and whether they're not, I don't know. And then we're going to have the Dolphins because
Good choice.
The Bills aren't playing like they should be. Rex Ryan's going to be gone pretty soon, and the Patriots might just not even play anybody Week 16. So
17.
That's what I meant. And
just want to be clear for the viewers.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm going with the Chiefs and then the Dolphins. Now looking at the NFC, which 2 teams do you think will make it as a wild card?
Got your Giants, your G-men, and then
They clinch tonight if they win.
that's true. That is very true.
Yep.
And I also have the Green Bay Packers. I just think Aaron Rodgers is on fire right now, and I can't pick against him. I know the Bucs are good, they're pretty hot, but I like A-Rod.
I ain't picking against the Packers.
I know.
But I ain't picking against the Buccaneers either. I'm picking against the Lions. The Packers are winning the division, and the Buccaneers are getting in as the number 2 team.
Okay. I'm gonna get, when you said number 2 team, that kind of threw me off. I was thinking like 2 seed, but anyway. The Giants I have at the 5. I think they're going to take care of business tonight in Philadelphia. As for the 6th seed, I think the Buccaneers will lock that up. The Redskins have kind of stumbled down the stretch. Packers, I think it might be too little too late, so I'm going with the Bucs. And, of course, the Vikings are just really a disgrace of a franchise at this point in the season. So, yeah, Buccaneers at the 6th seed for me. This season, what do you think is the biggest surprise in the NFL?
Probably the Cowboys. Just you lose Tony Romo early in the year, well, before the season even starts for like 8-9 weeks, something like that. You got your 4th round pick, rookie quarterback is now your first string. Well, I think that's a position that no team wants to be in, but it worked out great for them. Ezekiel Elliott's having a great season, and they're probably the 2nd best team in the NFL at this point.
I agree. The biggest surprise is the Cowboys. Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott lighting it up, and Tony Romo, who's him? Who is he? I don't know.
Him?
Who is him?
Yeah, I'm going with Cowboys as well, specifically Dak Prescott. I think a lot of people expected Ezekiel Elliott to do well, not as well as probably he has done, but nobody expected Dak Prescott to come in as a starter in Week 1. Obviously didn't win the first game of the season, but then went on a huge winning streak that was ended by my Giants, of course. But still, nevertheless, great season from Dak Prescott, and he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league at this point. How about the biggest disappointment?
I chose the Cardinals. I think the Panthers are a pretty popular pick, but they did lose Norman coming in, and I think that really hurt them a lot because their pass defense and just their defense in general hasn't been that good. But I chose the Cardinals because they really didn't have any glaring losses coming into the season. I even think this was this was like the first season they had with Chandler Jones too, wasn't it? Yeah, they got Robert Nkemdiche in the draft, who a lot of people like coming out of Ole Miss. So I really think that a lot of people expected them to be even better than they were last year, and that has not been the case.
I'm going to go with the Panthers. I think there was just so much hype with the Panthers. You know, Cam Newton and the dab. Everyone was like, got to do it, Colin.
You got to do it now, yeah.
Everyone's just so like, oh, Panthers. Cam Newton's like freaking president of the United States. Forget Donald Trump. It's like Cam Newton's like country right now. It was.
It was, man.
And now it's just like, who's Cam Newton? I don't know who Cam Newton is.
Who is him?
Who are the Panthers?
Who is him?
I'm going to go with the Panthers as well. A lot of the same reasons. Cam Newton, not the same Cam Newton we saw last year. Defense, not the same defense that we saw last year. It's a real surprise because obviously Norman was going to be a big loss, but I don't think anyone expected the defense to play this poorly in comparison to last year. For the Cardinals, though, that defense was expected to be phenomenal. And David Johnson's season's being wasted this year. He's been unbelievable. And Carson Palmer is just playing like a 40-year-old, not even a quarterback, like he's never played a down of football in his life. That's how bad he's been playing this year. So,
it's passionate.
Yeah, but I'm still going to go with the Panthers because I think the expectations were a little bit higher for the Panthers. Super Bowl predictions. Still a couple weeks left in the season, but who do you think will be going to the Super Bowl this year?
I see the Patriots Patriots Cowboys. I think that the Patriots are probably just the best team in the NFL, and they don't tend to lose in the playoffs. Sometimes in the Super Bowl, to the Giants, but
More on that in a minute.
they usually don't lose in the opening rounds. And the Cowboys are just really good this year.
I'm going to go Chiefs, Cowboys.
You really like the Chiefs.
Now, do you think the Chiefs would beat the Patriots in the AFC Championship, or would the Patriots be eliminated earlier
I think
than
they
that?
will beat them in the AFC Championship
Okay.
game. I think the Chiefs' defense is the only defense in the AFC besides the Broncos, and I don't think the Broncos are even making the playoffs. The only defense in the AFC that can stop Tom Brady and the Patriots' offense. And I understand that the Chiefs' offense might not be the best in the league, but I think there are pieces there that can put together a win over a very mediocre New England defense.
Tyreek Hill has been pretty impressive the past couple of weeks. Definitely a weapon on offense for the Chiefs. Going the Patriots to make the Super Bowl, I don't see it being that much of a challenge. Maybe Kansas City could cause some problems for them, but I think otherwise it's going to be pretty easy. As for the NFC, I'm going with my New York Giants to make the Super Bowl this year. You asked me this question 3 weeks ago, I would have said no chance. I wasn't even sure if they're going to make the playoffs. But their defense looks unbelievable, and I think Eli Manning in the playoffs is a very scary thing to see when you're an opposing team.
It was scarier a few years ago.
It was, but I think he still got it. Although he doesn't have it this regular season, I think he's gonna.
But he
I think
still
he's
got
gonna. I think he's gonna rally behind the defense. That's what he's been known for. He's been known for playing like average at the quarterback position in some years, and then he has huge years and gets his expectations up again. And once again, they've fallen off a little bit. And I think this is a perfect time for him to go on a big run in the playoffs.
Yeah, if we could go with like biggest disappointment for a player, I would have gone with Eli Manning because
You could make a case for him the way he's played this year, but there have been players that have been far more
I'd probably say
disappointing.
Cam.
I just wanted to get Colin riled up.
Not really
He's
riled up.
unflappable. You can't rile him up.
Anyway,
Nothing against the Colin.
we move on to picks this week. We'll start with the Giants. They play the Eagles tonight, chance to clinch a wild card spot. Pat, we'll start with you.
If the Giants lose, that's disgusting. The Eagles stink. Ever since they started the season, they stink. Carson Wentz is the worst quarterback in this division
Probably at
this
this
season.
point.
And their defense is just not amazing.
I'm going to agree with you on the Giants. However, they have had their fair share of struggles the past couple of seasons in Philadelphia, but this year seems different. The Eagles don't. They just don't look like they're a complete team at all this year, especially with Carson Wentz finally coming back down to earth. They weren't really that great to begin with on the offensive side of things. It was just Carson Wentz making everyone else look good, it seemed like. And the run game hasn't been that great.
I don't think he was ever really that far off
Hey,
of
let
earth.
me make my prediction. Of course, I took the Giants too. Starting the defense in fantasy tonight. Started the championship. Big deal.
Good luck. Good luck.
Thanks, man.
A couple of rough seasons in the past.
Yeah. I've been shafted a couple of times, but not this year. This year it all came together. And the Giants are just a lot better than the Eagles.
Was there a point that you wanted to make?
I don't think
Wentz?
Carson Wentz was ever that far off earth.
I think he had a
he had a good start, but it wasn't
I think
like-
he sort of leveled off, and now I think he's fallen off a little bit.
Yeah, it wasn't like,
think
whoa,
he-
Carson Wentz, you animal. It was like, wow, Carson Wentz, you're pretty good, dude. Now it's like, Carson Wentz, you stink.
I think he
dude.
hit a wall, honestly.
Yeah. And then, of course, well, you can at least say his rookie season was far more successful than Jared Goff's.
For sure. There's no doubt about that.
And you could say to a point that it wasn't Jared Goff's fault because he didn't play the first 10 weeks of the season. But the weeks he has played, he hasn't looked that impressive.
No.
So, Miami at Buffalo. The Dolphins look to continue their playoff hopes. They do have their own or own their own destiny if they win out the next two games.
They don't play well in cold weather. Typically, they beat up on the Jets last week. They've struggled with the Bills in the past. Bills have some pieces, but I don't care because the Dolphins are going to win.
A lot of turmoil in Buffalo.
Because
too,
we
at
have
this
Matt
point.
Moore, and because Tyrod Taylor is under center for the Bills, and I don't think there's a single Bills fan in the world that likes that.
Yeah, no.
So,
I'll
Finn's
say,
going to win.
I'll say again, like I should have said, well, I have said before, E.J. Manuel should be the starting quarterback of the Buffalo Bills.
That's just a little bit extreme now. I mean,
Tyrod Taylor is a very subpar quarterback.
what does that make E.J. Manuel then?
A very overlooked quarterback.
Overlooked.
Yes.
I think he was like a first-round pick out of Florida State. That didn't go too well.
I mean, down the line, he's been overlooked now. It's like, you know,
What has he done to deserve being overlooked?
he hasn't done anything terrible.
That's because he's not playing.
Exactly. Tyrod
Oh my
Taylor.
God.
The Buffalo Bills should be a good team. Sammy Watkins needs to be utilized more. Robert Woods is a decent receiver, and nothing happens on that offense besides LaShawn McCoy.
You know who's not playing either?
Who isn't playing?
Tim Tebow.
Yes, it makes
He's
no
overlooked.
sense. I'm going with
He's
the-
overlooked. He's an
I'm going with
overlooked
the
quarterback.
Dolphins. Close the mouth.
Okay, but like that was just a little.
Whatever. Okay, dude.
I'm going with the
Little wrong.
Dolphins as well. Tyrod Taylor. If I'm a Dolphins fan, Tyrod Taylor doesn't scare me that much.
Oh, he's gonna get beat up by that D.
Oh, yeah. If you look at what
just
happened to Bryce Petty. Oh,
that
my
was
God.
horrible, but
Yeah.
it was kind of awesome.
Yeah, and for that reason, I'm going with Miami, mainly because of their defense. We'll go with next game, Minnesota at Green Bay. Green Bay has been very hot lately. Minnesota, the complete opposite. Your thoughts?
Green Bay. They're at home, and Minnesota's just disgusting.
Yeah, Minnesota's 2-7 over their last 9. That's like
Not the best I've ever seen.
painful.
That can't
Green Bay.
happen.
Green Bay is making their move to win this division, and they're going to show it this week at Lambeau.
It's going to be an interesting offseason, though, for the Vikings, with Teddy Bridgewater returning from an injury, as well as Adrian Peterson, his future with the Vikings in question. With that being said, I'm going with the Packers. Aaron Rodgers looks unstoppable right now. He needs some help from his defense because they almost cost him a game last week against the Bears. But I think Aaron Rodgers is going to lead his team to victory this week. Indianapolis at Oakland. The Raiders having quite the season. Indianapolis has really struggled. Luck hasn't gotten that much help from his defense, just like Rodgers. Who do you have in this game?
Indy played well last week. They beat up on some crappy team, the Jags, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they beat up on the Jags, but that's not that impressive. Oakland's a much better team. I definitely.
Oh, no,
got
it wasn't
them.
Jacksonville played Houston. That
Yeah.
was right. They almost.
They beat up on somebody.
Yeah, they
It was the
played.
Browns, I believe.
I don't know who it was, but they beat up on. I don't know. They beat someone really bad, but I don't
I'll
care
try to figure it out.
because the Raiders are a lot better. So
Well, I'm going to disagree here, homeboy.
go ahead.
I think the Raiders are falling apart.
I would have to disagree.
That's all right. We've disagreed a lot. And
Have we?
Yeah.
It was a joke. We have
Okay. And Andrew Luck is a very good quarterback, and
sometimes.
No, usually he just doesn't have a lot of
Sometimes.
weapons. He has T.Y. Hilton and Dante
T.Y. is
Moncrief.
very good. Moncrief's a good receiver.
Yeah, I mean, no running game. Frank Gore is just.
Frank Gore's been okay.
He's old,
been all right.
outdated, and he does not have a great O-line there. And their defense, oh my God,
But the defense
the
is
defense
bad.
is disgusting.
No doubt.
But Indianapolis, Andrew Luck can really.
You're like making the case for why they should lose to Oakland right now.
No, I'm
Yeah, you are.
making
You're
the
just
case
pointing
on
out all the
why.
bad things about their team.
Yes, but I think Andrew Luck can overcome all of the difficulties.
I don't know about that.
All of the things that hinder his performances, and he can get a big win over Oakland because they want to win this division, and they're going to beat Tennessee Week 17 if they're playing them Week 17.
One thing that really surprised me
I don't know.
was when I saw that T.Y. Hilton's actually in the top 5 in receiving yards this year. He's had quite a season, and it seems like
How
it's
does that make you
because
feel?
he's.
That makes me feel okay. I mean, it's just arguing how Andrew Luck's a great quarterback.
Yeah. So what if Julio was top 5 receiving yards? What would you say?
I would say
You
that.
say that's a product of Julio, but if
I
it's
would.
T.Y., you'd say it's a product of
I
Luck?
think I never said T.Y. Hilton was bad.
I didn't say you did, but I'm saying that when T.Y. is top 5, you say it's a product of Andrew Luck, but when Julio's top 5, you say it's
Yeah, because
him.
I don't
So
think
what's-
T.Y. Hilton has the same talent as Julio Jones.
But where do you make that distinction? Like, what's different? What
I think
separates
you
them?
look at past seasons, and T.Y. Hilton, like last season, had a big down season. Julio Jones has, since he's been drafted, always kind of been a big, talented receiver. T.Y. Hilton, not so much.
T.Y.'s been very good in his career. I don't think that's arguable.
And I think that can be attributed to one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, Andrew Luck. Matt Ryan is
So,
not one of the best
so
quarterbacks.
are you
He has
saying
been.
are you saying you would vote Andrew Luck as MVP over Matt Ryan?
This season, or if I'm saying who I want as my
This
quarterback next
season.
season? No, he was out for a week. Actually, Andrew Luck's had a very good season, but they haven't won enough games.
There
Atlanta-
shouldn't be a discussion, really. It's pretty clear that Matt Ryan is more valuable to his team this year than Andrew Luck.
I don't know if he's more valuable to his team. I think he's just their team's better. The Falcons, Matt Ryan has more pieces than Andrew Luck does.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm going to go with Oakland in this game. I completely forgot that we were talking about this game with that
A
discussion.
little bit sidetracked.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm going with the Raiders. I don't think the Colts will do enough to beat them. Even with the Raiders' subpar defense, I don't think that they can. The Colts' defense can stop Derek Carr, Amari Cooper, Michael Crabtree. I think that's going to be too much for them. By the way, I think the Raiders have 7 Pro Bowlers this year.
Something like that. Something
which is
crazy.
impressive. They've made quite the jump this season. Baltimore at Pittsburgh, this one taking place on Christmas Day. A huge division game with a lot of playoff implications.
Give me the Steelers because Le'Veon Bell is just an animal. And I don't like that Baltimore offense very much, honestly. Not a big Terrence West guy.
Le'Veon Bell single-handedly.
Flacco's extremely inconsistent.
Single-handedly murdered my fantasy season.
That's all right, Colin.
47 points.
It was a decent showing for me.
Definitely going to go with Pittsburgh. Their offense has got so many people. It's like any of them can go off and they're just going to win. And then Baltimore, I don't know anyone on Baltimore. Like, you look at Baltimore, there's no one that's like,
The best
whoa!
player is Justin Tucker.
Yeah, like you look at Baltimore.
Justin Tucker's a
no,
god.
No
I
one,
love
no
that
one on
man.
Baltimore is exciting.
Justin Tucker is exciting.
Okay, thanks, dude.
That's excitement right
Pittsburgh, you got Big Ben, you got Bell, you got Brown, you got freaking Sammy Coates.
there. But no Justin Tucker. I love Justin Tucker.
Yeah, and Chris
Great guy.
Boswell, not the same.
Not the same.
I'm going with Pittsburgh as well. Denver at Kansas City.
I took Kansas City. They're at home, great defense, and I just don't like Denver's offense that much. Devontae Booker hasn't been that good since Anderson went down, and Simeon's just average. So
KC, baby. I just wanted to say that. It's like two great defenses and then a terrible Denver offense and a pretty good Kansas City offense. So Kansas
I'm
City's-
going with Kansas City. The Broncos' season seems to be going up in flames the last couple of weeks. Detroit at Dallas. This one on Monday night. The Cowboys look to try to clinch the NFC East this weekend.
hard to pick against Dallas at this point, so definitely got to go with them. But Detroit has the ability to do it with Stafford playing well, and just they're a team that's capable of putting up a lot of points. And Dallas doesn't have the best defense, so it could happen. But I'm definitely going Dallas.
Definitely going Dallas. Detroit's going to fall apart. They shouldn't be in this position anyways. Matt Stafford's an average quarterback.
He's been clutch this year, though.
He has been, but
He has
he shouldn't have been.
What?
You look at
What does that mean?
He's not great in other years looking into this. He's just not a star quarterback. Theo Riddick's been hurt the past couple of weeks, and who's he going to pass to? Golden Tate? Like, no.
Run game
Golden
really
Tate's
has
been good.
struggled.
Yeah, but that's just because freaking Matt Stafford throws that thing far. Like, really far.
I'm going to go with the Cowboys as well. I think Dak and Ezekiel. When you have those two guys, it's almost impossible to beat them. Almost impossible.
Let's do the Cowboys or the Giants.
Yeah. We move on to the NBA now. Isaiah Thomas had quite the game against the Memphis Grizzlies, career high 44 points, and led them to a comeback victory. Is it time for the Celtics to extend him and pay him?
I don't care when they do it. Just do it before he's a free agent. I mean, when you have a player that good, you just pay him. You just give him what he wants. I mean, it's like Redskins and Kirk Cousins. I mean, he's your franchise quarterback. Just pay the guy. I mean, I don't know. So what else you can do?
I disagree on that matter, but I would.
What happened? You were just
No.
loving Kirk.
I
like 2
was.
weeks ago.
And you
Like
got to
2
look.
weeks ago.
He's the streakiest quarterback ever. Last
Okay.
year, he stinks all season, then he gets hot when it's important. This season, he's crappy in the middle or beginning, and then he gets great, and now he's kind of cooling off again.
What's Plan B?
Yeah, that's
The
what I'm
plan
saying.
B is you franchise tag him again this year, and then you evaluate next year and see if he can become less streaky. Because if you're just going to keep streaking it up, I really would need to reevaluate.
That franchise tag is getting very expensive.
I would say that, but I would say you can look at a down season and then see if you can bring the price to pay him down a little.
That's not a bad idea, but I wouldn't rely on going franchise tag to franchise tag. Eventually, at some point, you got to think about who's going to be your franchise quarterback, and if it's not him, then I don't know who it is.
That's a very good question.
As for Isaiah Thomas, I think it definitely is time for him to be paid. He's proven that he's one of the better point guards in the NBA. I think he's 6th or 7th right now in the league in scoring. He's up there. I think he's averaging more points a game than Kevin Durant and Steph Curry, which is impressive, although they've been splitting.
They're sharing the ball with 4 good scorers.
Yeah, but Isaiah Thomas has looked great this year, and there was that discussion when he was out if the Celtics were better without him, which I thought was preposterous.
I didn't even hear that.
Yeah,
What? That's the thing?
there was a couple of news. I saw a couple of articles talking about how the Celtics, just like remember when Rondo was out, they had that discussion too.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
No.
it was the same thing as that, and then Isaiah proving the critics wrong.
If last night doesn't show you all you need to know, then you're dumb.
Yeah, definitely.
Very dumb.
Very.
Now, in terms of the Celtics heading into the draft this season, they have Brooklyn's pick. Brooklyn, I think, is in the bottom 3 right now in the league. I think they're maybe tied for second, something like that. Dallas is only worse than them. Nevertheless, it's going to be a good pick. Do you think the Celtics should trade or keep it?
If you're getting a guy like DeMarcus Cousins, I think you trade it for sure. I have no problems trading one or both Brooklyn picks to get a guy like DeMarcus, because draft picks are just so dodgy. You really don't know what's going to happen. You don't know where you're going to fall with the lottery. You don't know what the player you get will end up being. You don't know who's going to get picked ahead of you. It's just so unpredictable, and there's just nothing like a surefire NBA star, guy who's already established like DeMarcus.
See, I'd have to disagree with you there. I think the draft picks can be important.
Well, I didn't
You
say
can bring
that.
in a
Why
baller.
did you bring out the ball?
Thought that'd be a wild move.
It was.
And I think they can draft some really high-quality players.
Well, yeah, there's no
And
doubt about that.
You can have a nice, young team, not going to cost as much money as if you went out and got traded for a guy like DeMarcus
But
Cousins.
the problem is this team is how long. Like you have to think about how long this window will be open for. I mean, Isaiah Thomas is he's around like what 28, 29.
Yep.
They have a pretty veteran roster. They got a lot of young players too, but
Crowder's
Al
on the
Horford's
rise.
like 30, 31. Yeah, Crowder's probably like 26, I think. So
Yep.
they are pretty young. But if you draft a guy this year, like let's just say Markelle Fultz from Washington, point guard, you draft him, he's going to need probably at least 3 to 4 years to become a true NBA star.
Mm-hmm.
And by that time, what's your roster going to look like? I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's if you hit a home run on the pick, which is pretty slim chance, honestly, if you look at past drafts and the guys who've been drafted at the top.
And DeMarcus Cousins been scary good as of late.
He's definitely a top
And
10, probably top 5
even
player
if
in the
it's a
league.
steep price, and I'm not saying extremely steep. I think the Celtics should pull the trigger on that, especially if it involves even both Brooklyn picks.
I would give both Brooklyn picks and maybe even like a Jaylen Brown or someone else, or Rozier or Smart. I would give a lot for Cousins because you just can't. It's almost impossible to find guys like that.
Seems a bit risky to me.
I think that's actually pretty conservative because
You're going to give up 3 straight years of first-round picks?
didn't say that.
Okay, you get 2 Brooklyn picks.
Yeah.
So what's that,
That was-
first and a second round?
no,
Nope, it's
both
2 first rounders.
Yeah. And then
That's 2 years of picks.
Yeah, and then Jaylen Brown.
But they still
That
had
was
like
it.
3 other first round picks last season. He's not their only one.
I
Plus,
know,
they
but-
still own their own pick in 2018.
Okay, but that's still 3 first-round picks you're giving up. The 3rd pick in a draft and then 2 straight first-round picks.
Okay.
I would not give that up for one player.
When that one player is DeMarcus Cousins, I think you do it.
He
I do
scored
not do it.
55 points the other night.
I just don't think
Like,
you already
who
have.
are you going to get that's that good?
I don't know, but I would want LeBron James or something if I'm going to give up
There's
3.
no LeBron in this draft.
Oh no! Oh, for drafting
Like,
someone?
there's no LeBron in this draft. You're probably not going to find someone like that. That's just.
I'm not saying get someone like that, but I think if you Jaylen Brown and then there are 2 first-round picks, can be as good, if not better, than DeMarcus Cousins. 3 first-round picks, especially when they're going to be early picks, given the fact it's the Brooklyn Nets. I would not trade 3 first-round picks for
What
anyone.
would you give up for a guy like DeMarcus Cousins?
Maybe 2 first-round picks or
What
a
are they?
first-round
What are the
pick.
first round picks?
Maybe the 2 Brooklyn picks and not give up Jaylen Brown.
I don't know if they'd accept that. That's the thing.
No,
You-
but
you-
I think they would. But I would give them like the 2 Brooklyn picks and maybe like a guy like a Rozier and someone else. But what's the difference? Is it really that big a drop off if you're giving up Brown?
Yeah, he's a first. You just want to toss away your third pick of a draft.
Yeah, because
still a lot of
because
question
they have
marks
Jay
with him.
Crowder for the next like 4 seasons.
Then what was the point of drafting him in the first place?
Look, they really didn't have a glaring need in the starting lineup, so they're not drafting for immediately. He's a project.
I get that, but I don't think you just give up on that project just so you.
But it's not like giving up on it. You're turning him into DeMarcus Cousins, which is a pretty sweet deal.
You can't just give up.
It's
3
DeMarcus Cousins.
I get that, but you don't just give up 3 first-round picks.
It is when it's DeMarcus Cousins.
How many times do the first round picks actually end up being as good as DeMarcus Cousins is?
I think, first off, one of the 3 of them could.
Well, sure. Sure,
Could.
one of their second round picks could be too, but
Okay.
It
And then the 3 of them combined, 3 players is a lot of value right there.
depends on who the 3 players are.
Think of
3 early first-round draft picks are a
might
lot of
not
value.
be.
think of it this way.
I
Say
don't see the Brooklyn Nets being good this year or next year.
That
so-
doesn't. But it doesn't matter what pick you get. The guy could suck regardless. It doesn't
say
matter.
Brooklyn's pick this year is first overall. It could either be Allen Iverson or it could be someone like Michael Olowokandi. So the draft is it's just you never know, and you certainly know when you trade for a guy like DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah, he'd
he
get
is the
injured
real
tomorrow,
deal.
and his career could be over.
But that's the same with any draft prospect. I don't think you understand that.
I do understand that, but I think there's a much higher likelihood of first pick of the first round draft pick being better than the last pick of the second round.
Sure, but what does that have to do with DeMarcus Cousins?
I'm saying that I would not give up 3 first-round early draft picks to get DeMarcus Cousins. That just doesn't make sense.
It really does.
It does not.
Okay, just one more thing. If you look back in the past at like any blockbuster deal to bring a huge star to a franchise, this is like what it costs.
It's a bad cost.
Well, I think Danny Ainge would disagree if you look at the ring on his finger from 2008.
That's all right. I don't need to agree with Danny Ainge. I'm my own man.
That was gross.
That was interesting.
All right, that was
to
a
say
little
the
bit
least.
long, but hey,
Yeah.
he's wrong.
Well, we now look at the college level of basketball. Grayson Allen, once again in the news for tripping a player for the 3rd time in his college career.
This time from Elon.
This time, Coach K's had enough and he's suspended him indefinitely. Right move from Coach K?
Definitely. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous at this point. You can't keep doing this. It's just dirty, and it reflects badly on you, your coach, the team, the whole college, really, the program in general. So he definitely needed to do this.
He's a jerk.
Just keep in mind, Pat is completely biased against Duke and any player for them. Are you gonna say that's not true?
That's true. That's
it's
true.
completely true.
Okay.
You have a bias against Duke.
I do, but that doesn't make
I know.
Grayson
I
Allen
know,
a
but
good
like,
human
you just got to
being.
take everything he says with a grain of salt when it comes to Duke.
Okay, well then, why even listen to what I have to say? We'll move on to
I
comment.
agree. Let's go.
I'll tell you, with what Grayson Allen's done the past couple of years, he's almost making Christian Laettner look like an angel if you keep tripping
Laettner wasn't
people
that
over
bad.
Exactly. Like people.
Laettner didn't do much.
Yeah, I think he like curb
stepped
stomped
on the
somebody.
guy.
That
He
was
stepped
it.
on the guy one time.
That was it though. Like people just hated him because he played for Duke, and he just got a bad rap when he was a very good player in college. Grayson Allen's a great player as well, but he's really bringing this upon himself when he keeps pulling crap like this. And you can't do this when your coach is one of the best of all time. I would say top 2. You can make the case for John Wooden, but anyway, he's up there.
He was all right.
Yeah. And so I think Coach K is making the right move suspending him, and it's setting a precedent for other players that if you try any of this, you're going to find your way on the bench. So 2016, what a year it has been for sports. We're going to rank our top 5 moments from this year, starting with number 5, Pat. What do you have at 5?
Villanova, buzzer beater for winning the NCAA championship over North Carolina. It's a pretty interesting game. It's a big win.
Matt?
I have the Cavs with the comeback from down 3-1 against the Warriors. LeBron with the huge chase down block in Game 7. It was just an awesome series, and one of the greatest comebacks in sports history. And the first professional title Cleveland had in 50 years or so?
60.
60.
Yeah. I think the last time was actually it might have been 50. I think
Something like that.
I think it was the Browns in the 60s when they won a championship. Because God knows they haven't won a Super Bowl before. Anyway, at 5 I have Peyton Manning winning the Super Bowl in his final season. Definitely wasn't the prettiest route to the Super Bowl.
Not quite. No.
Where he suffered from injuries and then got benched at one point in favor for
Brock
Osweiler. And if you look at what Brock Osweiler's done this year, it just gets even more embarrassing. But Peyton, he didn't have a great game in the Super Bowl, but he did his job. The defense did their job, and he ended up finishing on top. Number 4.
I have the Cavs winning the NCAA championship.
Not the NCAA championship.
I don't know why I just said that. Winning the
It's all right.
NBA championship.
The NWA championship. Oh man, I wish. Number 4. Were you gonna say something?
No.
Okay. Number 4, I got Kobe dropping 60 in the last game against the Jazz. Honestly, I wasn't too impressed with his performance because he shot about 80 times. Yeah. But it's Kobe. He's a legend, one of the best players of all time, no doubt. Even though it kind of hurts me to say that because he played for the Lakers. Yeah. But it was still a very cool moment in sports history.
Number 4, I got Tom Brady's suspension finally actually being enforced after it was.
Okay,
it was enforced, and then it was taken back, and the league had it overturned once again. And it's caused a lot of outrage and definitely hasn't looked good for the commissioner. Obviously doesn't look good for the Patriots either, as people having more evidence
So
to
are
call
you
them
a team
cheaters.
Goodell, or do you want to fire Goodell, Colin?
I don't think he's a great commissioner, but I mean that's it's my opinion, I guess. Obviously I like seeing the Patriots being punished.
That was nice.
It's always good.
Gotta admit it.
But he's not very consistent when it comes to giving out penalties or punishments when it comes to domestic violence. Also, he's handled some of these situations poorly. What are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, fire him.
I think you just like firing people, honestly. Like you got really excited when we did that little bit with the NFL coaches, like who's on the hot seat. You were ready for that. You had like
Rattling
5
off
names. That was good. But yeah, I think Goodell's a little bit. He can be a little bit like overhated at times. I don't think he's just an idiot. I think he's trying, but I think that he's definitely.
He gets put into a lot of tough spots.
He's messed up a lot of times. He messed up with the Ray Rice thing. He messed up with Greg Hardy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. I don't know if I'd fire him, but I wouldn't be.
Can they like demote him?
I don't know how that whole power system works, but I don't love Goodell. And I think most people don't.
We move on now to number 3. Pat, what do you have?
I have Kevin Durant signing with the Warriors. That just changes the whole landscape of
Made me really sad that
the
day.
NBA.
Ruined my 4th of July weekend.
That just
I wouldn't
changed,
say it ruined mine, but it put a damper on things.
just completely changes the next couple seasons in the NBA. I think the Warriors are the clear favorites because
I agree.
of that trade or that signing.
And Matt?
I had the Villanova buzzer beater at 3, which Pat already explained to us. Great moment.
Yep.
Even though I lost $50,
Yep.
but it's all right.
I got the Cavs winning the finals at number 3. LeBron with a huge block, Kyrie Irving with a big shot, and LeBron's performance in general in that finals
Incredible.
was just amazing. Number 2.
I have the Cubs and the Indians making the World Series, 2 teams that haven't been there in a long freaking time. And the Cubs ended up winning, as most people watching the show would know.
He was upset about it.
I
Still
was.
is.
Yeah, I would have rather the Indians win.
Is there a particular reason for that, or just?
I am not a Cubs fan at all.
Was there like a reason for you not liking the Cubs? Like why? What'd they do to you?
I think everyone, they're kind of like Notre Dame sports. Everyone just seems always like, oh, the Cubs. I have no reason to like the Cubs, but I do.
Okay, I guess I see that.
Yep.
All right, my number 2, I picked the D. Gordon homer in the first game back from the after Jose Fernandez died. D and Jose were really close friends, and he comes up to the plate. He's got Jose's helmet on. He takes one pitch from the right-handed batter's box where Jose
Very
hit.
special.
And then the next pitch, he goes back to the left side and he hits a homer. His only homer of the season.
Oh, yeah.
It was incredible.
And D. Gordon, not even close to a power
It was
hitter.
incredible.
So.
One of the most amazing, most profound moments I've ever seen in sports history.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Villanova buzzer beater at number 2. That one won me $50.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris Jenkins. And it was one of the best championship games ever in general. I mean, North Carolina did a great job coming back, and it was just an amazing finish. Number 1.
Oh boy, you ain't gonna believe what I have here.
I do, because I gave him the idea. Just thought I'd let everyone know.
This wasn't on either of your lists. Simone Manuel being the first African American woman to win an individual Olympic swimming gold medal, which is pretty big for the sport of swimming. Yeah. Sport of swimming just sounded weird.
It's just a weird phrase. But
But
weird way to say it.
definitely a historic event.
Huge moment for a lot of people. I picked the Cubs World Series championship. It was the first time in like a million years, and it was a pretty good series. We said this on the show before. It really wasn't a great series, but there was a great Game 7.
Yep.
So, and just, being able to kind of relate to it, because when the Sox snapped their streak in 04, even though I was like 5 at the time, just knowing that like the pain they felt for all those years, it was like, you know what, I feel that.
Yeah. I have the Cubs winning the World Series at number 1 as well.
Good choice.
And what a Game 7 that was. I remember seeing Rajai Davis hit that home run. I thought, here we go again. The Cubs drought's going to continue. But Ben Zobrist comes up big with that. I think it ended up being a 2-run double that, put the game away. Cubs bullpen comes in, gets the job done. It wasn't pretty, but they got it done. And then, of course, Chris Bryant making the final out. It was a lot of fun to watch. I kind of have a hard time sometimes watching World Series in which the Red Sox aren't in it because I kind of lose interest. But when it's a Game 7 with 2 huge droughts on the line, a lot of people were watching. I think a lot of people were treated to an amazing Game 7. Well, that's all here for...
Not quite. We have one more very important moment in sports
What would
this year. Our very own Colin Casey dropping 43 in golf, not basketball, against Holyoke. I think that was a really big moment for everyone, all Americans this year, all people of Irish descent in America.
Just for the record,
very, very proud
for the record,
moment.
I was 1 over through 5 holes, so it's actually pretty embarrassing to go.
We'll tell the
8
people
over
what you
through
finished.
4.
Yeah. So he had a.
And we also lost by 1, so that's
he had a rough stretch to
kind
finish
of
it off.
completely my fault, but so.
He
all
did
right.
his best.
That's all here for today and this year. It's been an exciting year in sports. For all of us here at LCAT, I'm Colin Casey, as always joined by Matt Rotalakis and Patrick Varhu. We'll see you next year, actually. Merry Christmas,
Happy
Happy New
holidays.
Year, and we'll see you in January.